Prestige worldwide. Wide.
Prestige worldwide.
Prestige Worldwide welcomes you to the following presentation of the League of Extraordinary Dicks.
Welcome back to the L.E.D podcast. We're here again with our boy Drew.
Oh, hey.
And we brought Brendon back to comment on week 12. What's up, buddy?
Oh, hey.
That is Drew's catch line. That is his for a while.
How's it going?
So I guess we'll go ahead and get down to business. This is going to be a little bit more. I know the past couple of weeks we've done some funner things, but with the second round divisional games coming up, we're going to be a little more football focused this week. So I guess the first thing we'll do is we'll jump into the week 11 scores. Just real quick, Carolina Rain took down 4th and Schlong, 123 to 109. Chicken Little took out Huge Hefner, which is a big upset, 84 to 46. Dirty Skivvies outlasted Happy Little TDs, took him down 96 to 89. The Grizzly Adam Beards also won 96 to 89 over the Player Haters. 109 Monsters fell to Penior Cornflakes 107 to 83. And a last minute come from behind victory over our guy Brendon, Steel City, with a big upset. 146.66 to 146.1. It's a huge
One catch.
I will be honest with you guys. I was studying. Well, I was studying some material for a class I had to teach today, so I really didn't watch any of that Monday night game. But DeAndre Swift must have had a big day.
Yeah, he had a touchdown early, which got my heart racing for sure. And then they just stopped feeding him until the fourth quarter, and then he had like a 30-something yard run, and then just got enough yards to get Shaq the win there.
That's good for Shaq. I know I spoke to Russ today. He is also very appreciative of Shaq coming back.
Yeah, I'm sure he is.
Because that's gonna keep Russ in third place at the moment. Russ, you had the opportunity to pass him, but Russ is gonna stay firmly in third place.
Mm-hmm.
So I know he appreciates that.
Yeah, he does.
Drew's still hanging in after a 96-89 victory over the Player Haters.
Mm-hmm. Got a nice garbage touchdown from Daryl Henderson to help me escape across Matt. Otherwise, I don't think I win that game because Daryl Henderson was not the top back in that game.
Yeah, and you tweaked that out late. I think your games were done by 4:00. Is that right?
Yeah, Matt was done by 1, and then I had 2 4 o'clock, and two touchdowns is what helped me survive that win because, yeah, that's about it. That's all I got.
And then I also noticed
in my book right now.
I also noticed you rewarded Darrell Henderson by immediately cutting him this week.
Just like the Rams cut him.
I was gonna say the Rams thought the same.
Honestly, I just learned that right now. I didn't even know he got cut. Appreciate the touchdown. See ya.
Yeah, that's what I was getting ready to say. They're getting ready to activate old Kyron off for me. So
a lot of folks are looking forward to him coming back. So speaking of Kyron, we're going to cover some injuries that took place over week 11. Deshaun Watson,
big names,
officially out for a season, which is a big blow. Set out offense already don't have Nick Chubb. Lost your starting quarterback too. So players like Amari Cooper, David Njoku was having a respectful season. Those are all in question now with Deshaun Watson out. So another one that affects – so Deshaun Watson affects Russ. Aaron Jones left the game with a knee injury. This also affects Russ. It sounds like he avoided a major injury. They did tests, and there's no ACL tear. So that's good news. And actually, that's going to be a case for a couple of these next names. Cooper Kupp also left the game with a low ankle sprain. They said he did try to come back into the game, but the ankle just didn't feel right. So the fact that they're to me, if they're classifying as a low ankle sprain, that means if he misses any time, it should be just a very short absence.
Yeah, 1 maybe 2 weeks.
The next one, which I had very mixed emotions on this one. Devon Achane re-aggravated the knee injury that he just got back from. Mike Daniels said he did want to come back into the game, but they were just trying to be cautious with him. I think they got to a point where they had a comfortable lead, and they didn't want to risk it.
So that definitely saved me in my game because I was watching that game with my brother who just had a baby, so we were just sitting there hanging out, meeting the new kid. And first drive was the A-chain train. There was not a lot of Mostert, and I was like, here we go.
As the Mostert owner, I don't like to hear that. I thought maybe they're like, hey, we're just going to work you in like very quietly over the next couple of weeks. So,
no, they made Mostert like the third down back.
I don't like that. He got enough points to get the job done, but yeah, I don't like hearing that.
That kid's he's just too talented to not give him the ball. That's the problem.
Well, and he's also he's 10 years younger, right? 9 years. So, right. And he's more explosive. So, I mean, it makes all the sense in the world. I'm not trying to, I'm trying to make a playoff run here, and I don't need my second running back to fall.
Yeah, fantasy-wise, it doesn't work out for you. But
just to wrap some of these up, a big one here, Kenneth Walker left the game with an oblique injury. He's a starting running back for Joe, and Pete Carroll says the injury is, quote, legit. Now, Pete Carroll also has a terrible, terrible track record of over-diagnosing injuries, saying they're making them out to be much worse than they are. But some of the reports that I read is that Kenneth Walker could barely walk because I guess the pain on the side was just so intense. So that's something to keep an eye on. Fortunately, Joe did clinch a playoff spot this week. So if he wins one more game, he'll have a first-round bye as well. So that'll work out in his favor.
Boo.
There are a couple other names here. I'm going to skip them. As we mentioned, the Kyron Williams is expected to come back this week. They already cut Darrell Williams to make it happen. Drew, you've been waiting on that one for a long time.
Yeah. That's to say the lineup's finally about to complete is an understatement. So I don't even have to worry about moving roster pieces anymore. I'm just going to let it roll. And that's where we're at. So pretty excited. And then I got Charbonnet on the bench too. So see how long that Kenneth Walker injury lasts for him.
And as everyone knows, the trade deadline has already passed. So Drew's going to hold on to his cards, and should anything bad happen, he's going to be just fine.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of the deadline, was Drew was like the only one that made trades. Made like 4 or 5.
He made a trade with me.
Sure did. Yeah, that was a homer trade, but it worked out in the end for both of us, possibly. So,
I think so.
I bugged Cody about 3 or 4 times.
Yeah, throughout the season,
So-
there's some inquiries into Mike Evans if I wanted to give him up, and at the time, I was very firmly not wanting to give him up, and
Yeah.
so I did tell someone this there, whether it's I've had a good season, and I was trying to cash in on some of the benefits of that. So I was trying to position my roster with players who are going to have easy playoff schedules. And IU just happens to have a better playoff schedule than Mike Evans. So to me, they were comparable in points. So at that point, I felt comfortable letting Mike Evans go just because I'm hoping that it's going to pay off for me in the long run. Drew offered I ended up offering the trade, but I thought it was a fair trade for both sides, and we both ended up scoring touchdowns this week. So I'm happy with it now. Drew, are you happy with it?
I'm always happy with it. I do have a question though, because you threw in the defenses, so I gotta be a first one in L.E.D history to have a defense in the trade. So 1, excited, love it. And 2, What made the defenses go across the board in your mind?
No, I like the question. So again, I'm just trying to position my roster so that I have favorable playoff schedules. The Jets, as bad as their offense has been, their defense has been very good. They've been shutting down some pretty elite quarterbacks throughout the season. Josh Allen doesn't play well against them. Mahomes didn't play well against them. Burrow didn't play well against them. So they've done very well shutting down elite quarterbacks. And as I said with Ayuk, I was just trying to put easier or the best playoff matchups on my roster. So I thought I may be able to. Like I if you saw, I traded the Jets just have a favorable playoff matchup. That's really all it was for it. Was there another trade?
No, not the trade. I was going to say, did you mention Russ's other dramatic injury of Andrews?
Oh,
No, we didn't.
no, I
talk
did
about
not.
that.
Thank you for bringing that up. Yeah, Russ has had he had 3 starters go down in a span of 2 weeks or 3 weeks actually. He did end up starting Matt Stafford this week, but yeah, Deshaun Watson was his best quarterback. Mark Andrews goes down 4 or 5 plays in with a season-ending injury, and then Aaron Jones is out. So Russ is hurt right now. He told me today he's just trying to make the playoffs. He just wants to get to the dance and then see what happens. But yeah, that was another significant injury.
I was going to say the last one you didn't mention was Burrow for Sarah, which doesn't matter. She has Stroud, but Burrow out for the year as well.
Yeah, that makes that conundrum she had on which one to start week by week pretty easy.
Yeah, I wanted to trade for one of those quarterbacks. Jeff's got 3 of them. Jeff's got 3 quarterbacks. Sarah had 2 good ones. I couldn't find anything that was that I thought was like worth giving up for one of those quarterbacks. So
yeah, well, it's like you guys have talked about all year. Quarterbacks is just not much value that you can get back for them because there's so many on the waiver wire you can go pick up and in a spot start and get 15 to 20 points out of them.
I do think quarterbacks make a difference. I think if you want a quarterback, you need to go draft him.
Yeah.
If you fall into a situation where you get something like Josh Dobbs, that's great. But I think if you want your guy, you need to go get him in the draft. All right, so we'll go ahead and move into the Week 12 matchups. Now, obviously, this is my account, so it always shows my games first. So I guess we'll go ahead and start with mine, though. Carolina Reign taking on Pinion Cornflakes. Carolina Reign looking to close up the division with a win. But Zano's roster is finally coming together. For the most part, they're healthy with the exception of Cooper Kupp. And Zano's looking to make a roll, and he's currently favored to win right now. So do you guys have any thoughts on that?
Not really. I mean, Kupp being out might hurt, but the Rams' offense was, especially with Williams being out, has been pretty inconsistent. So, it might be a blessing in disguise for him because if Kupp's healthy, you're going to play him. But you never know. McLaurin or Moore might have a better game than Kupp would have. So it might be a blessing in disguise for him.
Drew, you have a particularly invested interest in this game.
Yeah, so I got a bunch of interest in multiple games that we'll talk about. This one in pursuit, it's not necessarily that, whoever wins this game doesn't really affect me much. I mean, would I prefer, because I have to lose every game just as I have a chance, which is a possibility because I have to run through you, Bowen, and Zano. But
it's definitely a possibility. I think people, if you're going to look at records and say, "Oh, that's not going to happen because Zano's only 4-7," you've not been paying attention to Zano's roster, and you've not been paying attention to Bowen. No. So, I mean, the team sports division is dangerous. So, I just want to reinforce your point there.
No, and that's my fear because, like, I love being in the apparel division right now. Just throw it out there. Play Matt and Sarah one more time would be nice. Even though every team's a hit or miss in this league, it's 1 week they're scoring 120, 1 week they're scoring 80. You just never know. And like Brendon's the hottest team in the league right now. I think he scored multiple back-to-back 140s. And so, and one was against me, I'm pretty sure, or at least high numbers, one or the other. But I mean, that game, it's going to be interesting. Cooper Cup, he's almost becoming the injury plague player. Like we're not used to him being not Mr. Reliable anymore. Cody, you just have a bunch of question marks, so kind of makes me wonder if your team's going to play or not. So, but it's going to be an interesting match.
Yeah, and I know Xander's not here, and he would yell at me if he did, but I'm going to do it anyway. So Xander currently sits in 9th place right now. He's 4-7 with, and the reason he's only in 9th place is because Sarah's got a better division record than him. So if Xander can rip off, he would definitely need to get 3, or definitely need to get 2. If he can get 3, that'd be real good for him. But he's not as far out of the playoffs as people would initially think. And to Brendon's point, the Lodge has been beating the hell out of each other right now. Jeff beat me. Brendon's on a tear right now. Russ has got a great team, and Kellen's fighting for a playoff spot as well. So that's only going to stand to benefit someone like Zano if he's able to capitalize on these upcoming division games. And, we see a lot of movement in these last 3 weeks. So these standings are going to change next week pretty drastically. So, from my perspective, I just want to close out the division. If I win this week, the division's mine. No one will be able to catch me. So I'm just trying to get a first round bye so that I can, like I said, take advantage of those matchups that I mentioned earlier. But
just looking, because you'd have to literally lose every game, and I'd have to win every game for me to take the division from you. So I like your odds.
Well, again, Xander's favorite, so.
Yeah, but like Cody was saying, with this league, you never know. That is within the realm of possibility. Zano could beat him this week, and then he's got to go through the rest of the division, the other 2 games. He's got to go through you and Bowen, who both have very good teams as well. So it's not all the way locked up yet. So
yeah, so we'll have to definitely keep an eye on it.
I'm previewing next week with me and Cody already. Cody's got some bye weeks I like to see.
Well, hey, when I draft players, I just don't think of the bye weeks. To me, I'll cross that bridge when I get there, and I'll deal with it then. But I'm not gonna not take a player on the board because of their buys lined up in a place I don't like it. So the next one I have listed here is the 4th and Schlong taking on the One-Eyed Monsters. Kellen's sitting at 5-6, currently just outside the playoff spot. And Jeff is also in a similar situation to Zano. He's also sitting at 4-7 with 1-2. And as we mentioned, the Lodge is beating the hell out of each other right now. Jeff is my only loss this year, so he's definitely capable of keeping up with us. I know he's beaten Russ as well, too. So there's at least 2 playoff teams that he's been able to take down. So, Brendon, this is your division. So what are your thoughts on this? Because you have a very strong vested interest in this one.
Yeah, as far as the division and playoffs go, I'd like to see Jeff pull out the W, because then that would put Kellen, no matter if I win or lose, it would keep Kellen right behind me. Yeah, it's a toss-up, though. They're very close in projections, and like we've talked about, any team could go off any week. So, I'm going to keep my eye on this one.
Have we mentioned Kellen's best player is Dallas defense?
No, this would be a good time to bring it up, buddy.
It is just ridiculous. I think they 129 points from a defense. That is just wow. But if Kellen can sweep back Jay Jettas this week, but it seems like they're going to hold him out until after the bye week. It makes Kellen's team pretty dangerous again. But it's going to be an interesting matchup. Puka Nakua for Jeff is going to be a bright spot since if Cup is out. So,
yeah, when I look at this, the resurgence of Devontae Adams. Of course, when I played Kellen last week, Devontae decided he wanted to show up for the first time all season, or since week 3, I should say. So he's still dangerous as always. He's an elite player for a reason. Sometimes coaches just get in the way, and now that he's got a coach that's making it a priority to get him the ball, that keeps him dangerous. David Montgomery still has a very pivotal role in this offense. Jeff's got Jahmyr Gibbs, so I'm interested to see how that plays out. Who's going to get the lion's share, no pun intended, of the carries. And then Breece Hall is still doing good work. So, I mean, this is a strong team, and as Drew just mentioned, Dallas is putting up tons of points. And Washington's not an elite team at this point, so that's one to watch for as well.
No. The other thing I wanted to mention is Justin Jefferson. He's supposed to be coming back this week, or still not sure? Because that's a difficult decision Kellen's going to have to make. If there's a chance he's coming back, his other 2 receivers, Cooks, plays on Thursday. And he's got him in the lineup right now. And then also Higgins is hurt too. So,
yeah, I don't know if you heard me. It seems like their plan is to hold him out until after the bye week to make sure he's 100% full to go. And I don't think they're too worried about the Bears. So I think that's my fear. But yeah. But going on just real quick note, going on Kellen's stats, Dallas is the 43rd ranked fantasy score getter. He's above Travis Kelce.
That's insane.
They're above Travis Kelce, Joe Mixon, Saquon, Derrick Henry, Kamara, Bijan, Kittle. Like, it's just 43 points from a defense, or 43rd overall. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah, that's incredible.
Just the last point on Justin Jefferson. I think if they can get by this week without him, get him one more week in the bye, because I think he's probably, from my understanding, he's probably good to go now. He actually came out and said, "I do not care about your fantasy lineups. I'll come back when I'm 100% healthy." But yeah. So I think the smart thing to do if you're Minnesota, you're still in the playoff race. You're currently sitting at 7th, which would be the last playoff spot. You're still very much in it. Josh Dobbs is starting to play well. Take the time, let your best player get back in on the field healthy. So, that's not the news that Kellen wants to hear, though. So, yeah, we'll just I think that's it for that game. Last point, I guess Puka Nacua would definitely benefit if Cooper Kupp is held. So that's good for Jeff. Moving on to the next one. We have Chicken Little Flea Flicker taking on Steel City. Just talking about Sarah's team, she's sitting at 4-7. Her advantage right now, she went 2-1 in the division, so that's why she's actually just 2 spots outside the playoff race. Does she have a chance within the parallel division to rip off a couple of these pivotal divisional games and make a playoff run?
I think she does. I think if she can get the 6 wins, that puts her at a 4-2 divisional record. And say Kellen only goes off 1-2 and Jeff goes 2-1, that puts her at the 6th spot right now. Mm-hmm. And so it depends on how Bowen goes in there too. So if she can pull off a couple wins, I know Joe's team's not scoring high and mighty as it first started off. Again, Shaq's team's just, his running backs are just absolute nukes right now. And then with Matt's team, I caught Matt luckily on a big bye week for him. So I think she's definitely capable of even pulling off 3. She's got a good chance because I think they're trying to get Devontae Smith involved in now a little more in that Eagles offense, watching the Monday night game now. And so I think it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, she's got a shot. It's just going to be tough getting through Shaq, Matt, and Joe. They all got good teams. So she's capable of it. And she's got good players. I think it's going to boil down to her running backs, where they show up or not. Cook and Williams have shown they're capable of it. They just got to be there for her. I think that's what it all boils down to.
Yeah, I think she's getting great production from her wide receivers. I've been a Michael Pittman fan. I've loved that pick from her since she drafted him. We knew Devontae Smith was going to do things, but I think the one to keep an eye on here is the Nico Collins, C.J. Stroud stack. C.J. Stroud is putting up video game numbers almost every week. Even when he throws 3 interceptions, no one cares because he's putting up so many yards and he's throwing so many touchdowns. So, and Nico Collins is probably his number one. I know he has been spreading the ball around, but I would say if I had to put a number one for Houston, it would probably be Nico Collins. So if Stroud can continue to play hot, and Nico Collins will benefit from that, I think she's going to upset a lot of people, or has the chance to upset a lot of people. Drew was looking at Shaq's team. Shaq's at 3-8. He does not have the advantage of any divisional wins at this point. Well, what's Shaq playing for at this moment?
I think Shaq's playing to get that first round bye, or not be that first round bye in the Princess Cup. Solid team. I think he has like the highest scoring against them, so it's unfortunate, but I think he's fighting to at least get 3 shots at the Princess, not winning a game in the Princess bracket.
Yeah, I mean that's what I'm thinking too. Is his job right now is to play spoiler and to not get that first round bye. That first round bye that's a pretty big handicap. I don't think folks who have been in that Princess Cup realize that you go from 3 chances to win a game to 2, and that's pretty pivotal when you're trying to avoid the Princess Cup. So Shaq is looking to play spoiler and get as many wins as he can. Still technically not out of the championship playoff hunt, but it is going to be difficult with the 0-3 divisional record to punch his ticket. That's all I'm getting at is the 0-3 divisional record is going to be tough.
Yeah, he's just at this point he's playing for momentum, and like you said, not to get that first round bye in the Princess Cup. Yeah, I mean, only having 3 wins at this point, it's tough to make a playoff run. It's not impossible, but it's tough with the 0-3 divisional record. But yeah, just play spoiler and see where it takes you.
I do love looking at a game like this because, again, that's why I love the way this league is set up at the moment as far as the standings, because both of these teams are not out of the championship playoff. It may look bleak at this point, but they have stuff to play for. So I mean, you're not really out of it until like that last week, until those brackets break. So I do love previewing a game like this because even when it looks bleak, there's still things to play for. Moving on to the next one, we got Dirty Skivvies taking on the Player Haters. Not much to play for if you're Joe at this moment. He's already locked up the division, which earns him a playoff spot. I think he's really just looking to fend off folks like you, Brendon, you, Drew, and Russ, and see if he can create enough distance to try to get a first round bye.
That's what he's shooting for right now. Like you said, he's already got the division locked up, so yeah, that first round bye is a big advantage for playoffs. So he wants to try to lock that up as quickly as possible.
Yeah. As much as I'd love to say I'm in it for the first round bye, I think me going 1-2 in division doesn't help. I think mainly person is Russ and Brendon. They got the 2-1 compared to me being 1-2, so I got a long way to fight for a first round bye. But never say never. But Joe's team's kind of on a 2-game losing streak right now. Oh wait, no, he won last week, right? He
did win last week. He is, from what he's scared, he's lost like 2 out of the last 3 though.
Yeah. So, I mean, like I said, like you guys keep saying, it doesn't matter who you play any given week. That other team can go off on you at any time. So, yeah, that's why I thought, because with Bowen, he played Bowen last week, and I thought A.J. Brown was going to go off a tear. So that's why I thought he lost. But yeah, so I like Joe to be a first round bye with you, and then we'll see from there what it goes on.
I will say historically, most of the past L.E.D champions did not have a first round bye. I think when my last championship a couple years ago, I had a first round bye, and I may have been like one or two people to win a championship from first round because statistically, our history shows that even if you play in the first round of the playoffs, you're more likely to win a championship. Just to paint a silver lining on that, gentlemen.
I was just gonna say, anytime I get a first round bye, I lose. So on to the next one.
Yeah, and that happens to quite a few people. So
I would love to get one, but I don't think I've ever had one in this league. So
look, at this point, I think we share the opinion of Russ. You just want to get to the dance, and once we get to the dance, we'll let it play out and see what happens.
Yeah.
Just briefly touching on Douthit here. Still solid. We're hoping to get Devon Achane back, and as we touched on, it does sound like he is going to play this week. He's actually getting limited practices, which is a good sign for Matt. This was an absolute monster and a playmaker for Matt early in the season. We're talking about a guy who put up 49 points in a game earlier this season, and then followed it up with a 25 and then a 21 point performance. So Matt's desperately waiting for Devon Achane to get back on the field to pair with Gus Edwards, who has been pretty hot recently, and Jerome Ford as well, who's probably going to be more of the centerpiece now that Deshaun Watson's out and Nick Chubb's out.
Yep. Yeah, and he's got a nice little strength of schedule going on for this week, looking at his team. So who knows what's going to go on there?
Yeah, I'm expecting Gus Edwards to get a touchdown or two this week against my Chargers. So that'll be good for him. But one thing I want to mention was how different would Matt's season have been if it wasn't for Arthur Smith?
Yeah, I think that's a good question. The Bijan was supposed to be the next big running back, and it was supposed to be automatic.
Right.
And
he started out really hot too.
That's a great question. I mean, it's a good point to make as far as because Matt, I feel like had a good roster coming out of the draft. I personally am scared of rookie running backs only because Clyde Edwards-Helaire burnt me. I spent a first round pick on Clyde Edwards-Helaire, and I learned my lesson for life. So the cojones on Matt to take Bijan. I gotta give him credit, but it's not even Bijan's fault. It's Arthur Smith.
No.
And I'm looking at it now. He's got Bijan benched for this week.
Yeah, I mean, it's just to the point where you don't know what you're going to get because of Arthur Smith and having Algier there. I mean, obviously they don't care about fantasy football, but it was working for them until it wasn't. So when it stops working, go back to Bijan. I mean, that's just my thought process on it.
Yeah, I don't know if he's had a chance to look at his lineup because he's got Chris Olave benched as well, so he may not have set his lineup for this week yet. So just keep that in mind as we're discussing these.
Who knows? He's got a big faith in. He's got 3 Jacksonville and 3 Baltimore players. I'm not saying that's a Doomsville lineup, but I have a hard time doing that.
Yeah, you are playing with fire with something like that because in a case like that, there's only one football to go around. All right, moving on to our next game. This is a huge matchup, arguably matchup of the week or game of the week. The Grizzly Adam Beards taking on Happy Little TDs in a team sports division showdown. Both teams currently in the playoffs. Drew looking to get his boy Kyron back in the lineup and just put the thing on cruise control, as he said. Bowen, up until last week, was the hottest team in the league. He had his first loss in 6 weeks last week. So CeeDee Lamb was held in check for a little bit. I think that's what hurt Bowen a little bit. But this is a big matchup. And Drew, what are your thoughts on this matchup? I mean, this is big for your postseason push.
Petrified? Is that a word? It's a good word.
Yeah.
It's a good word to use. It's a good word to use. Yeah, I mean, I got some decent favorable matchups against him, like AJ Brown and Jalen Hurts against Buffalo. They're a hit or miss team. They could play really good or really bad. I do not like the CD Lambs matchup. It scares me. But it's gonna be fun for sure. I like my team. Jamar Chase is kind of scaring me with Burrow being gone now. To say but he's gonna get his targets, so hopefully he's a playmaker. He'll make something happen. I don't like how Pittsburgh just got a new offensive coordinator either, so that scares me as well. So it's going to be a tight matchup. I feel like this is, unfortunately, it is my game of the week too, because it's got big implications for playoffs.
Brendon, this also has an effect on you. So, I mean, you can be honest here. What are you wanting to happen here? I mean, what would you like to see? And who do you think is going to take it? Then?
Honestly, I'm not wanting. I think it would probably help me more if Drew lost to Bowen, but I mean, everything's so jumbled up together. I'm not really wanting any specific result. But I think it's a close one. I think it's going to come down to that trade that Drew and Bowen made earlier in the year. See if CeeDee Lamb goes off against Washington and Eckler's got a tough matchup against Baltimore. I think it's going to come down to that trade and see what happens based off of the trade. CeeDee Lamb and Pacheco and Eckler. So, I mean, we'll see. I think in the end, I don't know. I think it's too close to call.
So I guess I'll put it to you like this, Brendon. Looking at this particular matchup, which one of these rosters do you want to play against? Would you prefer to play against, I should say?
I think I'd prefer to play against Drew.
Yeah.
Honestly.
And I'm in the same boat, and that's no disrespect to Drew. It's just I get scared about this Jalen Hurts, AJ Brown stack. And that, as Drew mentioned a couple weeks ago, that trio of wide receivers is scary.
Lamb has been just absolutely going off. So that scares me. And then Pacheco is a really good running back too. He's going to get his touches. So, yeah. I mean, they're both very good lineups. But I think Bowen got hot at the right time and made that trade, which I think helped him out a lot. So his lineup just scares me a little bit more with, like you said, that Hurts and AJ Brown stack.
Yeah, very selfishly, if Drew, if you could just go ahead and win this week, I'd appreciate it. I know that it benefits you. I don't want to play a team like Bowen in the playoffs. I don't. I'd much rather take my chances with maybe Kyron Williams coming back up to speed, maybe Jamar Chase continuing to be a stud without Joe Burrow. I would prefer to play Drew in this situation. And again, that's no disrespect. I'm just if I'm trying to get the championship, I don't want to play a team like Bowen who's pretty scary at the moment.
Right.
No problem. Just throw fuel into the fire, boys. That's what I like to say. Let the team start cooking.
Just for the record, we are wanting you to win this week. I just want to make sure we're clear on that.
I know, but you're talking shit about playoffs, so bring it on, nerds.
Hey, we'll let everything get settled once we get to the playoffs. So,
I was just gonna say, I think if I pull off the win against Bowen here, it doesn't solidify me a playoff spot, but I like my chances a lot more of making playoffs at 8 wins compared to 7. So
right. And so I mean, again, Bowen is the last team. He's currently the 6th seed in the championship. So we got Kellen nipping on his heels there. So Kellen's definitely wanting you to win as well. So that'll benefit him. And then our last game discussed this week is going to be Hugh Hefner taking on Peeping Tomlinsons. Also a huge playoff game. Also a lot of implications for the Lodge division. So, Brendon, this is your game, and it looks like you need a win against a very, very tough divisional opponent. Maybe a divisional opponent who's hurting a little bit because we got 3 starters out now. So, man, what are you looking for here?
Yeah, I mean, I don't like players getting injured, but it does help me out this week because it looks like Aaron Jones is not going to play. Andrews is out for the season, and Deshaun Watson's out for the season. So it helps me out. I don't like it when players get injured, but it does help me out. But with that being said, I mean, you just never know. Russ still has a very good team. I mean, Diggs and Godwin could go off at any moment. Kyle Pitts, you have no clue. He could have a monster game where he could do absolutely nothing. So, and then Jordan Addison going against Chicago, he's like their only receiver. So he's going to get the ball as long as Jefferson doesn't play, which it looks like he's not going to. So, yeah, I need Brian Robinson and Laporta to show up, and I like my chances. But so I know Keenan Allen and St. Brown are going to get the ball, and Tank Dell looks like he's solidifying himself as a top wide receiver threat. So they're going to get the ball. It's just I need my running backs to show up.
Drew, who do you need here? Who do you need here to win so that can benefit your team?
Who do I need here to win? I need Russ to win, if anybody. Keep Brendon one game back from me. But Brendon's team's like I think I said at the beginning of the week, Jesus Christ, beginning of the podcast. Brendon's the hottest team right now. So Russ is running to a huge dog right now, and so Thursday's going to be a big tell for how the week's going to start off for old Brendon. So It's going to be interesting.
Yeah, I think Russ is just trying to hang on for dear life and get into the playoffs, try to get some players healthy. As we touched on, fortunately, Aaron Jones it looks like he's not going to go to IR or anything like that. They don't think he's going to play this week. Brendon, I actually share the same sentiment. I don't like to see players get injured. I think it's very, like, if you're an owner and one of your teams has a major star get hit, it's very just like deflating because you spent draft capital on them, or you made some kind of trade to go get them. And you always want your best stars to play, and I think that's good for just fantasy in general. But having said that, hey, we're just here playing the game, and if that advantage breaks your way, then so be it. You didn't go out there and injure him, so
that you know of.
I guess so. What I'm looking here is to see if Baltimore, I guess to me, what's going to be the key factor here is, can Baltimore slow down that Justin Herbert, Keenan Allen connection? Because that has been huge for you. That's why you're putting up 145 points, is that connection there, because he's going to Allen early and often, and that stack has paid money for you.
Yeah, with Mike Williams being out and Palmer got hurt for a little bit too. I mean, he doesn't really hit, and they don't have a tight end to speak of. So Allen's going to get the ball. But like you said, that Baltimore matchup is a big one.
Another thing, Amon-Ra's been a stud all year long. So I mean, he's been very consistent. I actually have him in a different league. I don't think you can ask for a more consistent player than Amon-Ra. And again, I hope I'm not giving him the kiss of death, but he's going to get his points. Now, Sam Laporta's fallen off a little bit for you. He's not had a good game. I'm talking like double-digit game in like nearly a month. But they're still winning. So I mean, you're not gonna be upset with the team winning. And then Brian Robinson, just a surprise player. I don't think anyone expected him to blow up like he has been. So that's a nice little gem for you there. So all in all, if Baltimore can slow down that connection between Herbert and Keenan Allen, I think he's got a chance. I do think for Russ, the Stephon Diggs, maybe that rejuvenated Bills offense without Ken Dorsey there, maybe Stephon Diggs can benefit from that, but he's going to also need to get some production out of Kareem Hunt too. Now that again Deshaun's not there, so I think if you can pull this off, it's going to be good for you, bad for Russ, bad for Drew. So you can play spoiler here.
That's what I'm hoping. If I can pull this off, I think I'll pass Russ and be in the lead in the division.
Yep.
So that's what I'm shooting for, is that get that division crown and then see what happens after that. So we'll see.
A lot of exciting matchups, a lot of big important matchups this week. Folks looking to play spoiler, folks looking to avoid going to the Princess Cup, folks looking to avoid the Princess Cup first round. So a lot of meaningful games this week. That's why we decided to really focus on the games this week. So, but having said that, let's move on to our next segment here. We're going to do a little trivia here. Again, I just did some, we've had some fun with the games on here, the games and the drafts. I think we've had some fun. I think people are responding well to it. I'm getting good text messages that people like it. So we're going to do another Thanksgiving one here. Brendon, you had Drew go first last time. Is that right?
I did,
right.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to make you go first this time.
That's fine.
So, Drew, if you would be so kind as to take your headphones off for us.
Hi, Poppy.
Let's put it this way. It sounds like he's taking his headphones off.
I would say I will appeal this.
throw the red challenge flag. All right.
Yeah.
So no time limit on this. We're just going to do Thanksgiving trivia. All right. This is very generic. I picked these open questions on purpose, so to be relatively fair. All right. So starting with number one. No time limit. According to a poll, what Thanksgiving side dish is the least popular?
The least popular? Let's say cranberry sauce.
Are pumpkins considered a fruit or a vegetable?
Fruit.
What popular shopping day occurs on Thanksgiving Day weekend?
Black Friday.
What two NFL teams have played on Thanksgiving Day since 1966?
Detroit and Dallas.
And get as close as you can on this one. But what is the average amount of calories consumed on Thanksgiving?
Oh, God.
Per person.
Per person? We'll say, I don't know, 2,000.
All right.
Oh, hey.
Welcome back, buddy.
How to do?
So it is 5 questions, and I don't know. He technically, of the first 4 questions I asked, he got 3 of the 4 right. The 5th question is who's closest to the number without. Actually, it's just who's closest to the number. That's all I want. So we'll figure out who won after you answer these questions.
All right, let's party on.
All right. According to a poll, what Thanksgiving side dish is the least popular?
Oh, God. Yams?
Are pumpkins considered a fruit or a vegetable?
Vegetable?
What popular shopping day occurs on Thanksgiving weekend?
Black the Friday?
What two NFL teams have played on Thanksgiving Day since 1966?
Dallas and Detroit.
And here's the closest two. What is the average amount of calories consumed on Thanksgiving Day per person?
Oh, dear God. It's a lot. Go 2,700.
So it looks like Brendon's going to be our winner by 1 point. Looks like Brendon's going to get 4 of the 5, and Drew's going to get 3 of the 5. So the first question is, according to a poll, what Thanksgiving side dish is the least popular? The number one answer is green bean casserole.
Least popular,
Yep.
really?
And I'll be honest with you, I would have said, is it really?
I love green bean casserole.
Yeah, me too.
I would have been like Drew. I would have said yams. Because I do see those frequently, but I'm like, get them things away from me.
Oh, I
What
eat
was
some
Brendon's
yams
answer?
too.
He said what? Cranberries.
Cranberry sauce.
Are pumpkins considered a fruit or a vegetable? They're considered a fruit. Which I know my wife thought said vegetable. She's like, I know she's like, I feel like it's gonna be fruit because it's such a trick question, but I'm gonna get vegetable. So, Brendon did get fruit, and Drew just said vegetable. You both got Black Friday correct, and you both got which two teams play on Thanksgiving. It is the Cowboys and the Lions. The average amount of calories consumed on Thanksgiving Day, which is going to make you feel really good before you go eat on Thursday, 3,150 calories, which is the equivalent of eating 14 pieces of pumpkin pie. So Drew got that one right.
That's insane.
With 2,700. So yeah, Brendon, are you 2-0 against Drew, or are you 1-1? I can't remember.
I am 2-0.
Where was the
Get your
fourth?
wins.
Where was the fourth right answer? Is the question?
Got him on. I got him with Tom Brady last time.
The fourth question was what two NFL teams have played on Thanksgiving Day since 1966, and it is
No. You said he got 4 out of 5, and you said I got 3 out of 5.
Oh, so you both missed number one. He got fruit.
Oh, so we tied then.
Oh yeah, I guess you did. I can't math.
Yeah.
Don't try to cheat me, boys.
Yeah, we tied. So 1-0-1 for me.
Well, I'm gonna tell you what. If I got something wrong, Drew will call me on it. Respectfully, he will always call me on it.
That's why he's co-host.
Yeah, that's good. Well, honestly, I didn't have a tiebreaker prepared for you, so congratulations on your tie, gentlemen.
I'll take it.
It's not a loss.
I'll say this: after that first one you had with Russ, that trivia, I was definitely worried about doing trivia against Drew.
Dude, the one with you caught me off guard because I just it was the 30-second that got me this. Because who was it? Kellen. I fired off with freaking Zano. I fired off like this or like overall, and it was like this year. I was like, son of a bitch! I said Tom Brady's not even playing this year.
Yeah.
But they're fun. It's fun seeing people's how much they knows.
Well, Drew and Russ are there. To me, they both have like head fulls of like useless football knowledge. So that's why with Drew being on every week, that's why I thought like we should, almost a stump the Schwab type of thing. I don't think Drew's, and I think he'll admit is not on Schwab's level, but I thought Drew would be a very good person for trivia.
Well, he is.
So
it's fun. It's fun.
Yeah, I've got a bunch of just useless knowledge in a bunch of different subjects, so I'm not smart in any one particular subject.
Well, very good. Let's move on to our last segment here. We're going to pick our game of the week, and we've referenced a couple games that could be a potential game of the week. So, Brendon, what's your game of the week?
It's got to be Drew and Bowen. I mean, I could go with my own matchup, but the Drew and Bowen matchup it's going to be a really close one, and it could go either way.
Drew?
Yeah, I'll go with not picking myself, and I'll go Brendon and Russ.
I'll be the tiebreaker here. I think if I'm taking both teams at full strength, I am going to go with the Drew Bowen one. Russ is in a good spot right now. He's currently in third place, so he's in a good position. If he needed to take a loss, he could. But I'll tell you, Russ is not going to lay down for you. I know that for sure. So,
no, absolutely.
I just think with Bowen Bowen catching fire late in the season, he needs to try to get some divisional wins to help establish him in the playoffs and try to not be one of those bubble teams. So, if he's able to hold off Drew, who, again, in very firm grip in the playoffs, and has a very dangerous team, if he's able to take down that and get a division win to his credit, I think it's going to pay off for him going forward.
Yep. Since I also throw out there that I won the character draft from last week.
Yes, he sure did.
Just in
And
case anybody was wondering.
I wanted to touch on that. How did nobody pick Roy Hobbs?
you know, Brendon, you brought up a lot of good points. Technically, when I think back on that draft, that did not go the way I thought. When I left there, I was like, I crushed that draft. And then the girls were like Airbud, and there's no coming back from that.
Yeah, no recovering after that.
When he said Airbud, I was like, are you serious? First round? But Airbud is what locked up the win for Drew, and
Oh yeah,
it was a landslide really, because I think I ended up in third, and I thought I hit a home run, but Drew just killed it with Airbud.
or it could have gone Bugs Bunny too.
A whole bunch of them out there.
Yeah.
Well, I am glad to see like the misses voted on it, because we don't get to hear from the misses in the Facebook group too often. But yeah, I mean, that was fun. I do want to do another one at some point, but I texted Drew and I did today, and it was kind of a reach. So I have to find someone that's like actually good. So, but we got a lot of playoff football coming up too, so we'll those might have to take a back seat. Well, boys, that's gonna do it for this episode. I just want to tell you guys, I love you boys, love the league on this Thanksgiving. I'm very thankful for the league, and I'm so happy for you guys and your families. I'm happy to see everyone in the league member just continue to thrive and do well. Be safe this holiday weekend, and just take care of each other. And we'll see you next week.
Same goes to all you guys.
Couldn't have said it any better myself.
Brandon, thanks for coming on, buddy.
Thanks for having me. It's always a blast.
Peace, gentlemen. See you.